All right, so I'm going on a date tonight with my husband, and I decided to get ready with you today. And while I'm getting ready, I wanted to share some funny story about myself. So I was diagnosed with a learning disability when I was about in grade 6. And they told me I was dyslexic, which I highly doubt. I probably think that I have undiagnosed ADHD, that's for sure. But the diagnosis they gave me was that I had dyslexia. Now, dyslexia is usually more defined into when you're reading or when you're writing. So it's usually more into that sense, which it did not affect me that way at all. So that's the funny part about it. But the way it affected me was mainly with my sense of direction. So just for you to know, I have no sense of orientation at all. I get lost all the time, but I'm never really lost because I don't know where I am all the time. So thank God for GPS because I've never drove anywhere without my GPS. Or when I did, when I was younger, when I first started to have my driver's license, there's no such thing as GPS, or just started it. So we didn't really have it in our car or on our phones. It was more like a device. So I've got lost so many times in my life. Like that one time, I need to tell you that one because that's one of the funniest ones. I drove somewhere. I was going to see my friend, I think. And because I had a flat tire, I had to use the little back road, which I did not know how to get there by the back road. So I got lost and I had a flat tire. So I called my dad and I'm like, Dad, you need to come and pick me up. I have a flat tire and I have no idea where I am. So he's trying to figure it out where I am, from where my friend lives to where I drove to the little road. And he was like, Stephanie, can you see the McDonald's? And I was looking where my car is and I was like, no, I cannot see any McDonald's. And it was like, I think I know where you are, but just he wasn't sure. So he's like, I'm driving, just stay there. Finally, he got to where I was. And guess what? When he got there, he said, Stephanie, just turn around. And there was the McDonald's. So I get lost and then anxious about it. So it doesn't really help. So the funny story, by the way, I just used the Diamond Perfector from Physician Formula. Love that brand. Just love it. And I got those 2 new products from Physician Formula. I don't know if you remember from my last video, but I will use those 2 together. That's exciting. So back to my story. When I first met my husband, we knew each other for about, I don't know, maybe a month or 2, not really long. And he invited me over to his house to have supper. I'm like, sure, I'll be there. I just need to get my nails done. And I'm going to come to you right after, as soon as I'm done. So I get my nails done. And as a reference, I live in Canada, so I live in close to Montreal. So I was in Valleyfield. So I go to my nail appointment, and for my defense, there is a way to go to the West Island where I was going. And if you just miss and you go towards this way, you go all the way to Ontario, which is another province, right? So I obviously take the wrong turn, and I did not realize I was in the wrong. I didn't even realize I got in the wrong way for about, I would have to say, 20 minutes. So I drove for 20 minutes on the wrong way without even realizing that I was on the wrong way, because that's how I am. I just don't know. So 20 minutes later, I drive and it says, welcome to Ontario. This is when I realized that I'm completely in the wrong way. By far, you're in another province. You're no longer in Canada, you're in Ontario. So I call him and I said, sorry, I'm going to be late. I got on a wrong turn and I ended up being in Ontario. So imagine having a first date and your date is calling you, telling me, listen, I'm going to be late. I got lost and went in another state instead of going to your house. How would you react? Seriously, he was like, and we still talk about this story after all these years. And he's like, seriously, I thought you were just bailing on me or just choking on our first date. Because he goes, who does that? Who goes to all the way to another state before realizing that you're on the wrong way? Well, that was me, realizing that I got on the wrong way too late. So I promised, I've purchased this one from Physician Formula. I just love those products. So I want to do a sun kissed makeup look, really natural. We'll see. So I want to do contouring and also maybe a little bit of sun kiss on my nose. And I want to do contouring. So I'll go here, a little bit here. And I'm going to do a little bit on my nose. But I think I'll do the jawline. So have you ever went somewhere so far that people are like, seriously, you went all the way there before realizing that you were lost? Or is it just me? Am I that bad? I know I'm pretty bad at it. And I've done that many times in my life where I got lost to another level. All right, so I don't hate it. I think it applies very well. Now we just have to make sure that it blends pretty well too. We'll see how it goes. Sun skin, not bad. So now that I've done this part over here, I want to use a little bit of that powder. Again, Physician Formula. I love it so much. So we're going to put a little, not too much. All right. Not too bad. I don't know if I'm going to put my hair up or if I'm going to put it down. I don't know yet. All right. Next step, I'm going to do these eyes. I'm going to go with something pretty natural, but I like I'm really big onto pink eyes. I like the pink around my eyes. It makes my eyes stand out. So let's just see what we can do. I think I'm just going to go with what I usually do, what I feel comfortable with. Now, I was wondering, do you have any story where you got lost pretty bad? I remember when I was younger, it was even worse. I once took the train after school. I was taking the train to go back home. So took the train for about an hour and a half. That took about an hour and a half, the whole train, right? And then once I got to the end of the actual train station, at the last station, this is when I realized I was in the wrong train. I went all the way to, I think it was Blainville or something like that, which is pretty far if you think about it. An hour and a half away from home. So I called my parents and I was like, I would have to say, this is when I was first diagnosed, so I would have to say grade 6. So I call my parents and I'm like, I took the wrong train. And they're like, well, you're going to have to take the next train because we're not going to pick you up all the way to Longueuil on a random Thursday at 5:30, right? They're like, well, take the next train and come back home. And it took me that long to realize I was on the wrong way because the thing is that I'm always lost. So I'm always in that state of, I don't know where I am. So for me, it was just like, I don't know where I am, but I never know where I am. So it's not any different. Even if I go home on the right way, I don't know. Really, I'm always in this lost state. Anyway, so these are my issue. So I got this black pencil and I really love it because it's really dark for real. It's from Makeup Forever, the black one. And this is where the magic happens, really. This is what makes my eyes stand out. Liner. This was also from Sephora. It's called Sex Kitten. Look at this cute little pencil. So cute. And it's from Tarte. I really love it. I love the tip. It's very. I'm gonna come closer. All right, so I did my other eyes in the mirror because I couldn't see properly in my phone. So here's the eyes. And what I think that's really important is that whenever you use something that has a liquid, that it's either a liquid or is greasy, you need to apply the powder to fix it so it lasts longer. All right, once I'm done with the eye, I'm also going to do the eyebrows on my little brush that I broke. So if you remember, I did my microblading. Best investment ever. I don't have to do so much with my eyebrows, just a little touch up. That's it. And I also got, again, Physician Formula. It's always in my makeup bag. It's the Butter Palm Feathered Micro Brow Pen. Really thin again when we paint little hair strokes. Love it. Now that I have my eyelashes on, I don't even have to wear mascara. That is the best part. So next step, I'm going to do my hair. A little bit of lipstick. I'm not a big fan of lipstick and lip contouring, but I think I'm gonna invest. I have this project. I booked an appointment at MAC because I feel like I need more makeup. I feel like I need to upgrade a little bit in my make palette and everything I own. And this is something I want to work with. Maybe get a stain for my lips, or maybe a combo of lipstick and crayon. I don't know. We'll see what's out there. But it's like she's going to do my whole make and she's going to suggest. So I'm going to bring all my makeup that I have, and then she's going to suggest things that I don't have that I need, and we'll make a makeup tutorial / shopping haul. All right. So now it's time for the hair.